It is my most sorrowful duty to announce to you the death of my beloved mother, the Queen. I know how deeply you, the entire nation, and I think I may say the whole world.
For years, King Charles's secret diary has remained a tantalizing enigma, with its pages whispered to hold untold stories and hidden truths. Among its cryptic entries, one name has consistently stirred curiosity: Grace Kelly. The iconic Hollywood star turned Princess of Monaco, Grace captured the world's heart with her beauty and grace. But what was her connection to King Charles? Deep within the royal diary lies an intriguing collection of passages, speculated to reveal more about their mysterious relationship than anyone ever imagined. The silence surrounding these writings only deepens the mystery, leaving us to wonder, what could King Charles have written about the princess who forever changed the face of royalty? Join us as we embark on a journey to uncover the secrets within King Charles's diary and explore the untold story of his bond with Grace Kelly. The discovery of King Charles's secret diary. An intriguing find. The discovery of King Charles's secret diary was an event that many royal enthusiasts had been waiting for, though no one could have expected the full scope of its contents. For years, the royal family had kept their private lives hidden behind walls of security and privacy. But suddenly, whispers of the diary began to surface in the most unexpected places. Online forums, podcasts, and even casual conversations about the British royal family started buzzing with talk of this small, leather-bound book believed to belong to King Charles III. The diary, often regarded as one of the most well-kept secrets of the royal household, provided a rare window into the mind of the young Prince of Wales, who was struggling with the immense weight of royal duties, expectations, and personal issues. What made this discovery even more remarkable were the passages found within the diary. Amidst the regular entries detailing Charles's thoughts on his royal responsibilities, the pressures of public life, and reflections on his family, there were certain entries that stood apart. These were not merely casual observations. They were poetic, intimate, and laden with emotions that hinted at a deeper, more personal connection. They described someone unforgettable, someone who had left an indelible mark on the young prince's heart. The writer spoke of this person as someone with a grace that could not be taught, someone who seemed to embody an ideal of elegance and composure that transcended mere beauty. She carries an elegance that cannot be taught. The Princess of Graceful, one of the entries read. This description immediately caught the attention of those who had heard of Grace Kelly, the American actress who had famously married Prince Rainier III of Monaco. The timing of the entries was crucial. By the time King Charles would have written these words, Grace Kelly had already made her transition from a Hollywood starlet to the Princess of Monaco, capturing the hearts of people around the world with her charm, beauty, and poise. The Princess of Grace. Grace Kelly's life and legacy. Grace Kelly was not just a movie star. She was an icon of elegance and grace. Born in Philadelphia in 1929, Grace Kelly quickly became one of the most sought-after actresses in Hollywood, known for her roles in classic films like High Noon, 1952, Rear Window, 1954, and To Catch a Thief, 1955. She was the epitome of the golden age of Hollywood, stunning, poised, and talented. But it was not just her acting skills that made her stand out. It was the way she carried herself both on and off screen. Her meteoric rise in Hollywood was mirrored by her equally dramatic shift into royal life. In 1955, Grace attended the Cannes Film Festival, a trip that would change the course of her life. During her visit, she was photographed alongside Prince Rainier III of Monaco, an event that sparked rumors of a budding romance. At first, Grace was not particularly interested in Prince Rainier. She had just completed filming To Catch a Thief, and her career was in full swing. However, after a few encounters, the two quickly grew fond of each other, and within a year, Grace had gone from being one of the most famous actresses in the world to the Princess of Monaco. In April 1956, the couple married in a lavish ceremony that became known as the Wedding of the Century. The entire world watched as Grace Kelly left behind her Hollywood career and assumed her new role as Princess Grace of Monaco. The wedding was a fairy tale come true for the American actress, but it was also a public spectacle that captured the fascination of the world. As Princess Grace, she continued to embody elegance and grace, managing to balance her royal duties with a private life that was often filled with challenges. She became an admired and respected figure, not just in Monaco but globally, navigating the tricky waters of being a royal while still maintaining the poise and elegance that had made her so beloved as an actress. Could it be Grace Kelly? The diary's cryptic entries. At the time when these entries were likely written, Grace Kelly had already become a beloved public figure, widely admired for her beauty, grace, and ability to adapt to her royal role. For a young Prince Charles, who was in his 30s and often found himself struggling with the pressures of royal life, Grace Kelly may have seemed like the ideal of royal perfection. She was not just a princess. She was a symbol of how a woman could seamlessly transition from Hollywood fame to royal life with dignity and poise. She seemed to embody everything that Charles was expected to appreciate in a royal figure. The diary entries revealed more than just admiration for Grace Kelly's royal status. However, the tone of the writing suggested something deeper. Phrases like, "She listens with her heart," and "Her kindness shines brightest when we are alone," hinted at an intimate connection, one that went beyond simple admiration from a distance. These words did not just reflect an appreciation for her public persona. They hinted at moments of personal connection, or perhaps even longing. This raised several questions. Could Prince Charles have harbored a secret admiration or even a personal affection for Grace Kelly? Or were these just the thoughts of a young man struggling with his royal duties and finding solace in the image of someone who represented a kind of unattainable ideal? The mystery deepens. Could the diary be about someone else? As the diary's contents became more widely discussed, a wave of speculation swept through royal circles and among royal enthusiasts. While some believed that the entries clearly pointed to Grace Kelly, others were more skeptical. The references to the Princess of Grace and her kindness shining brightest in private seemed to fit Grace's public image. But the lack of direct references to Monaco or Hollywood left some room for doubt. Could the diary's author have been describing someone else entirely? Some critics argued that the diary might not even belong to King Charles at all. Perhaps, they suggested, it had been mistakenly attributed to him. There were theories that the diary might have been written by Prince Rainier III himself, who had his own feelings toward Grace Kelly and her transition into royal life. After all, Grace Kelly's relationship with Rainier was well documented and widely admired. But could it be that someone else's thoughts were mistakenly attributed to Charles? Other theories pointed to the idea that the diary might not be about Grace Kelly at all. Some believed that the descriptions could have referred to another figure in Charles's life, someone much closer to him and much more contemporary, Princess Diana. By 1977, Charles and Diana had begun their own public relationship, which would eventually lead to their tumultuous marriage in 1981. Early on, their connection was marked by affection, and the early days of their relationship were often described as romantic and filled with moments of true companionship. Grace Kelly and the Hollywood starlet who became a princess. Grace Kelly's story is one of the most extraordinary transformations in modern history. She had left behind a promising Hollywood career, choosing instead to embrace the role of a wife, mother, and princess. In doing so, she became an international symbol of elegance and grace. But her journey from Hollywood to royalty wasn't instantaneous. It was filled with moments of uncertainty, surprise, and destiny. When Grace met Prince Rainier, neither one of them likely expected the depth of the connection that would develop. Their first meeting at the Cannes Film Festival was somewhat awkward, and it wasn't until after a few more interactions that the sparks of romance began to ignite. Even so, their relationship moved quickly. The letters exchanged between the two became increasingly personal, and by the end of the year, Grace had agreed to marry the prince. The world was captivated by their engagement and subsequent wedding, but it wasn't just the glamour and spectacle that enchanted people. It was the sense of destiny that surrounded their union. Grace Kelly had found a new purpose as Princess Grace, and she excelled in her new role, even as she was forced to give up her previous life as an actress. Her transformation into Princess Grace was a significant moment in history, marking a shift in how the world viewed royalty and celebrity. The search for answers. Was the diary about Diana instead? Despite the lingering questions about whether the diary referred to Grace Kelly, another compelling theory emerged as more details about Charles's life were examined. By 1977, Prince Charles had become deeply involved with a Lady Diana Spencer, who would later become Princess Diana. Their early relationship was filled with moments of affection, but as time wore on, their marriage became strained, marked by public scandals and private discord. It was during the early days of their relationship that some believe King Charles may have written the entries in his secret diary. These descriptions of kindness, grace, and private moments could have been reflecting his feelings toward Diana. As the diary entries described personal moments of connection, it seemed entirely possible that they were about Diana, not Grace Kelly. However, the public image of Grace Kelly, with her poise and elegance, likely continued to serve as an ideal for Charles, even as he navigated his own personal challenges with Diana. Princess Diana. The natural charm and elegance that captivated King Charles. Princess Diana was a woman who, much like Grace Kelly, possessed an innate charm and elegance that captured the hearts of those around her. Diana's natural beauty was undeniable, but it was her warmth, empathy, and humanity that truly set her apart. These qualities were what endeared her to the public and made her one of the most adored figures in the royal family. She seemed to possess a rare ability to connect with people on a personal level, offering comfort, understanding, and kindness in a world that often seemed cold and distant. These qualities did not go unnoticed by those closest to her, including Prince Charles. As we explore the contents of King Charles's secret diary, we begin to see an intriguing possibility emerge: that the woman described in the diary might not be Grace Kelly, but rather Princess Diana herself. The entries in the diary speak of a woman who was not perfect, but in her imperfections, there was beauty. The writer reflected on how this woman taught him to see the world differently and find joy in the simplest of things. Her laughter, he wrote, stayed with him long after she had left the room. These words echo the sentiment that many people felt about Princess Diana. Her ability to bring light and warmth into even the darkest corners of her world. Her laughter, her compassion, and her understanding were qualities that made her a beacon of hope and love in the often rigid and formal world of royalty. This personal reflection in the diary suggests a connection that goes beyond simple admiration and points to a deeper emotional bond between the author and the subject. The revelation of these diary entries added a new twist to the growing mystery surrounding their author. As more people began to speculate on who the woman described in the diary could be, it became increasingly clear that the person in question was not merely admired from a distance. She was adored. The emotions expressed in the diary were those of someone who felt a deep personal attachment to this woman, someone who had been profoundly impacted by her presence. This level of adoration, especially from someone like Prince Charles, who was used to public admiration but often struggled with the pressures of his royal role, suggested a deeper, more personal connection than most people realized. The warmth and light of Princess Diana. A surprising connection. One particular diary entry reads, "Her laughter stays with me long after she's gone. It's as if she leaves a part of her light in the room." This line stands out because it mirrors the way Princess Diana was often described by those who knew her. She had a remarkable ability to put people at ease, making them feel seen and heard in a way that few others could. Her warmth was contagious, and her ability to make people feel comfortable, whether they were close friends or strangers, was one of the defining aspects of her personality. The words in the diary seem to capture this essence of Diana perfectly. In many ways, Diana's ability to radiate warmth and bring joy to others was one of the reasons she became so beloved. Her charity work, particularly in the areas of HIV/AIDS awareness and landmine clearance, showcased her compassion and empathy. But it wasn't just through her work that Diana touched people's lives. She had an innate ability to connect with others, and this connection transcended the formality of her royal duties. When Diana entered a room, it was as if she brought a ray of light with her, dispelling the darkness and offering comfort to those in need. In fact, there is a particular story that perfectly encapsulates this ability of Diana's to bring joy to those around her. It's the tale of the surprising dance performance she arranged for King Charles's birthday in 1985, which speaks volumes about her playful spirit and her deep desire to make Charles smile. Diana wanted to do something special and unexpected for Charles on his birthday, so she secretly arranged a dance performance with renowned ballet dancer Wayne Sleep. The performance, set to Billy Joel's Uptown Girl, took place at the Royal Opera House in London, and it caught everyone in the audience, including King Charles, completely off guard. Diana had secretly rehearsed the dance routine with Wayne Sleep, and when the moment came, she took to the stage in front of a captivated audience, delivering a lively and spirited performance. The surprise and joy on Charles's face were palpable, and the audience, too, was delighted by her unexpected display of energy and grace. It was a moment that showcased Diana's spontaneity, her sense of humor, and her desire to bring a little lightness to the often serious world of the royal family. The performance was not just a gesture of affection, but a testament to Diana's playful nature and her ability to connect with Charles on a personal level, far beyond the formalities of their public roles. This connection between Charles and Diana, marked by moments of genuine affection and warmth, aligns perfectly with the sentiments expressed in the diary. The way the diary's author speaks of the woman's ability to bring joy, to make him feel alive, and to offer him solace in a world that could feel lonely, all points to the possibility that the subject of these entries was indeed Princess Diana. The question of timeline. Was Diana the subject of the diary? Despite the growing evidence that Diana could be the woman described in the diary, there are still some inconsistencies that cast doubt on this theory. For example, the diary speaks of years of admiration for the woman before describing a deeper connection. Yet, Charles's relationship with Diana didn't truly begin until the late 1970s, and their courtship was still in its early stages at the time the diary was written. Diana was only introduced to the royal family in 1977, and it wasn't until the early 1980s that their relationship became serious. The timeline in the diary seems to suggest a much longer history of admiration and emotional attachment, which doesn't quite align with the timeline of Charles and Diana's courtship. This gap in the timeline presents a challenge for those who believe the diary is about Diana. If Charles had been writing about Diana, how could he have had such a long period of admiration for her before their relationship even began? It's possible that the diary was not meant to be a strictly factual account of events, but rather an emotional reflection of Charles's feelings and perceptions at the time. The entries seem to focus more on his emotional state, his longing, his admiration, and his desire for connection, than on providing a precise record of the timeline of events. The emotional depth of the diary, a reflection of Charles's inner struggles. What is undeniable about the diary is the emotional depth of the entries. These are not just fleeting thoughts or casual musings. They are deeply introspective reflections on Charles's feelings and experiences. The language of the diary is filled with longing and vulnerability, suggesting that Charles was wrestling with complex emotions. One entry, for example, reads, "I wonder what it would be like to simply be with her without the weight of expectation or the rules that bind us, to be seen for who I truly am, not for the crown or the titles." This line reveals a longing for authenticity, for a connection with someone who could see beyond his royal title and understand the man behind the crown. The burden of the royal title had always been a heavy one for Charles. Throughout his life, he had been expected to fulfill certain duties and meet specific expectations, and this pressure often left him feeling isolated and disconnected from those around him. In the diary, we see a prince who is yearning for something more, someone who can offer him solace, who can understand his struggles, and who can provide him with a sense of emotional refuge. The woman in the diary is portrayed as a beacon of warmth in an otherwise cold and distant world, someone who can offer him the companionship and emotional connection that he so desperately craved. This sense of isolation, however, was not unique to Charles. Princess Diana, too, felt the weight of the royal title and the pressures that came with it. Despite being surrounded by people, she often spoke of feeling alone and disconnected from those around her. Diana's ability to offer empathy and emotional support to others, however, allowed her to connect with Charles on a deeper level, especially in the early years of their relationship. Her understanding of his struggles, combined with her own sense of isolation, created a bond between them that seemed to transcend their royal duties and titles. The diary's revelation. Charles's search for emotional connection. As the pages of the diary continue to reveal Charles's inner thoughts, it becomes clear that the woman he admired represented something more than just an idealized image. She embodied qualities that Charles was searching for in his own life: warmth, companionship, and emotional understanding. The entries suggest that Charles was looking for someone who could see him for who he truly was, not just as a prince or as part of a royal family, but as a man who was seeking connection, understanding, and love. This search for emotional connection is perhaps the most revealing aspect of the diary. It shows a side of Charles that was rarely seen in public: the vulnerable, introspective man who was yearning for something beyond his royal duties. The emotional depth of the diary entries suggests that Charles was not simply admiring a woman from afar, but was longing for something deeper, something that could provide him with the emotional support he needed to navigate the complexities of his life. Whether or not the diary was about Diana remains uncertain, but it is clear that the woman described in the entries played a significant role in Charles's emotional life and his search for meaning beyond the crown. The strained marriage of Charles and Diana. Charles's marriage to Diana was hailed as a fairy tale by the public, but the reality was far more complicated. The couple struggled to find common ground, with differences in temperament and personality making it difficult for them to connect. Diana later revealed that she felt overshadowed by Charles's continued bond with Camilla, famously stating that, "There were 3 of us in this marriage." This acknowledgement of infidelity within their union created a growing tension between the two, and by the late 1980s, Charles and Camilla had resumed a romantic relationship. This renewed affair would eventually be exposed to the public, leading to a scandal that rocked the royal family. The scandal and the pressures of royal life. In 1992, Andrew Morton's biography of Diana exposed the troubled state of her marriage to Charles, alluding to his ongoing relationship with Camilla. That same year, the infamous Camillagate tapes were leaked, featuring an intimate conversation between Charles and Camilla that further fueled media frenzy. The scandal cast a shadow over Charles's reputation and added intense pressure to his already strained relationship with Diana. Although Diana publicly acknowledged Charles's infidelity, the emotional truth behind their separation was far more complicated than the media portrayed. Charles was caught in a tumultuous situation, balancing his love for Camilla, his obligations as a royal, and the increasing breakdown of his marriage to Diana. Camilla's role in Charles's life a constant presence. Despite years of separation and public scrutiny, Camilla remained a constant in Charles' life. The diary, possibly a safe space for his innermost thoughts, may have revealed how their relationship blossomed in the face of royal expectations. As Camilla's marriage to Andrew Parker Bowles ended in divorce in 1995, it marked a turning point in her relationship with Charles. At the same time, Charles and Diana's marriage was officially over, and they finalized their divorce in 1996. The years following Diana's tragic death in 1997 were marked by a gradual effort to rehabilitate Charles and Camilla's public image. Public acceptance and marriage. In the early 2000s, Camilla's presence in Charles's life became less controversial. The couple made their first public appearance together in 1999, signaling a shift towards greater acceptance. In 2005, after years of private and public adjustment, Charles and Camilla were married in a civil ceremony at Windsor Guildhall. The ceremony was a stark contrast to the lavish royal weddings of the past, emphasizing their desire for a more understated celebration. Camilla, respecting Diana's legacy, chose not to take the title of Princess of Wales, but instead assumed the title of Duchess of Cornwall. The truth in the diary, hidden emotions and devotion. Through the years of public turmoil and private longing, Charles's diary served as a key to understanding his hidden emotions and motivations. The entries likely reveal his unwavering devotion to Camilla, even as he fulfilled his royal duties and married Diana under public pressure. The diary was a place where Charles could reflect on his feelings for the woman he truly loved, even if circumstances forced him to suppress that love for many years. Despite the years of secrecy, the truth of Charles and Camilla's enduring bond may have always been evident in the private pages of his diary. In conclusion, the emotional complexity of Charles's relationship with Camilla, as hinted at in his diary, offers insight into the man behind the royal image. It's clear that Camilla was never far from his heart, and despite the royal constraints, their love story eventually triumphed. The diary remains a testament to this enduring devotion, hidden away from the public eye for many years.